Viewer beware, you're in for a scare.
Oh, dark, evil YouTube gods, grant me a stupid game to play for my Halloween special! Please? Well, guess I'll play this. So today we're going to be talking about, and this is a long one, Ju-on, the Grudge Haunted House Simulator. Okay, I guess it wasn't that long, but it is one of the weakest game titles I've ever heard. Haunted House Simulator? That sounds like one of those joke games like Surgeon Simulator or other example. Anyways, this game is based on the Grudge series of movies, which are known in Japan as Ju-on. This game, for some reason, decided to use both titles? I mean, that'd be like if Resident Evil decided to release a game called Resident Evil Biohazard. Oh. Oddly enough, in Japan, this game has a different name. Kyofu Taikan Ju-on, which seems to translate roughly to Fearful Feeling Grudge. Wait a minute. Ju-on just means grudge. So this game is actually called Grudge the Grudge Haunted House Simulator. The game came out in 2009, and very early on in the development phase, the devs decided to say it was unlike most survival horror games and more like a haunted house simulator, which I guess they didn't think sounded lame. So anyway, I'm stalling to get to this game. I mean, it said it'll kill me, so I guess let's get going. Oh, by the way, if you recognize this funky music, going to Nintendo jail. Nintendo jail. I don't make the rules. Mr. Nintendo does.
So anyway, we boot up the game and we're greeted with a sorta creepy shaky cam intro of someone approaching the famous house from the Grudge movies and just barging in and snooping around. This intro scene is actually really well put together. It's got some decent atmosphere. And that's totally just a mannequin being pulled by a string. Wow. Ah, yes, go towards the terrifying hell woman whose house you've just broken into. That's a wise choice. Anyways, our protagonist, no, more like a cameraman, is mysteriously killed. Not sure how, but boy, he sure looks scared. We finally start up the game, and for some reason it needs to know my gender and zodiac sign, I guess? In Chapter 1, we play as a girl named Erica. who is walking her dog Ivy. Ivy sees a pale, naked boy and chases him into an abandoned factory. Erica chases after. And we finally get to the gameplay, and wow, is this dark. Like, really, really dark. Not scary dark, just hard to see and hard to play dark. I had to fiddle with my TV brightness settings to even see a little bit, and I definitely have to adjust the brightness in post so you could even see any of this footage. The game doesn't even have any built-in brightness adjustments, so that's great. So the meat of the gameplay is a dark maze, wandering your way from jump scare to jump scare, looking for flashlight batteries so it doesn't become even more dark and impossible to see. Well, actually, if your flashlight runs out, you just die. I don't know, it wasn't very hard, and even after getting lost a lot, never ran out of battery power. The game has a lot of this situation. You try to enter a room or something, and you're met with something like this.
And you're like, ah, how scary. Wouldn't want to face that. But that's the only way I can go, so I guess I'll head that way. And then there's just nothing.
Like, okay, any logical thinking person would leave, go get help, and come back later to find your dog. But the only option this game provides you is to head in the direction of the killer nightmare monster. So anyways, I enter the bloody hand lady room and endless blackness. Oh god, what horrors have I wrought? The endless blackness of oblivion? Oh wait, no, the game was just loading. That's good. Honestly, when I hit this moment, I was really confused. I wasn't sure if the poor controls had made me look up at the ceiling or something, or if I had done something wrong, but no. The game was just struggling to load. Every time you open a door, there's this long, drawn-out scene that anyone with any minor knowledge of game development would tell you that this is what they disguise a loading screen as. In fact, Resident Evil most famously did this. Instead of just getting a loading screen, you have a quick little scene of your character walking towards a door and opening it. Much more interesting than just a loading bar. But this game, made many years after Resident Evil, still isn't able to load in the span of opening this door.
Yellow?
7 minutes.
7 minutes? But the killer movie gives you like 7 days.
Yeah, but your video wasn't gonna be that long.
Okay, fair enough.
So, yeah, 7 minutes, give or take.
Alright, see you later.
See ya.
What a nice man.
Now, let's talk about the controls. Being a Wii game, naturally you look around by moving the Wiimote. But you move by pressing B. But the nunchuck isn't used at all. Pressing B to move forward just makes it feel so awkward. Actually, I talked with another person who had played this game, and I had played it in the past before starting this review, and both of us seem to remember this game being on rails. But it's not. I mean, it might as well be. It is moving through very narrow hallways. Being on rails would have made it a little less frustrating because you would feel less like you're fumbling around in the dark. But I guess that would remove the battery mechanic and, you know, any danger at all that you might face. Honestly, with the awkward controls and the general feel of the game, it really feels like a cheap haunted house ride at a lame carnival. That's why they must have felt the need to call it a haunted house simulator. You know that scene in The Simpsons where they're going through that crappy horror tunnel and just like a spring pops out at them like blah, and there's a repairman. He's like boo. Yeah, that's honestly this game, just darker. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw cheap cardboard cutouts of scary things jumping out at us.
Are you kidding me with this? This jump scare is on the same level as the toasty guy from Mortal Kombat.
Anyways, back to the gameplay. Your character moves so slowly. And even though I mentioned the flashlight never ran out for me, it seems to eat up batteries faster than a Sega Game Gear. Hey, there's a joke for my retro game collector fans. I love ya. I love ya. At some point in this first chapter, we come to a section where there's some sort of power box thingy buzzing loudly and non-stop. It's making it very hard to hear the podcasts I was listening to deal with how boring this game is. Well, wandering around, more stupid jump scares, and we get to the elevator and suddenly...
Well, back that way, because it's the only way to go.
Erica walks into the elevator and Ivy runs in after her. Hooray! We can finally leave this awful place. Then the elevator opens up, Ivy runs into a forest of hair, and Erica runs after her, and we can only assume they both die.
And that's the end of the chapter. And it feels like a huge middle finger because for all our strife and effort, we just end up dying in the end. This feels like a very dark interpretation of life as a whole, but this is a stupid YouTube show and probably not the most appropriate place to dive into dark introspection.
So anyways, after the chapter ends, the game gives me a scare level and a sissy level. And the game gives me this note. For a persevering Capricorn, you sure get scared easily. You sure you're a Capricorn? My guess would be chicken. Apparently this game measures how scared you are by how much you flinch because it uses the accelerometer in the Wiimote instead of the sensor bar like most Wii games. I will admit that this game startled me a few times with jump scares. But that's easy. Even the worst of horror movies can do jump scares. Startling is not scaring.
Boom! Did it scare you? I've never experienced a greater terror in all my days.
Beating this chapter took about 30 minutes to play, and it felt like 5 hours. The next level is a hospital, and I hoped that would be a bit less pitch black, and it was! A bit. But this level was so much worse. I played for a while, and no silly jump scares. I saw the little grunge boy once. This hospital level is a lot of opening empty hospital rooms, looking around and finding nothing. I did walk into this one room and have it glitch out and change between 2 different rooms a few times. And in fact, I played this again later with a friend and it did the exact same thing. Good job.
You didn't do a good job.
Great job.
I cannot articulate well enough how slow this game is and how boring it is to awkwardly fumble around in the dark. I was hoping to get more silly jump scares, but this game is just too painful to bother finishing. Do not play this game, not even ironically for laughs. It is not fun or good.
It's time.
Go ahead. At this point, I want it.
You millennials, take all the fun out of this.